2 months of sideways ranging for the price of Bitcoin. Are the Moon Boys preparing for a mega bust unlike anything we've ever seen? Or are the Bear Boys preparing a trap to diddle the Moon Boys once and for all? Or are the Bulls about to absolutely diddle the Bears? Big time. Right now the price of Bitcoin is very quickly coming to the end of its 2-month consolidation. But will it be an end to the upside or an end to the downside? So if you understand that before things really get big, sometimes they're not quite as big. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, get sent up to BINGX or BINGX below if you like Bitcoin or altcoins. Without any further ado, let's absolutely dump on in big time. Look at this pattern, right? This is the daily chart for Bitcoin. For the past 2 months, since the very end of February, beginning of March, Bitcoin has been trading this exact same range. In fact, Bitcoin right now is actually trading at the levels that it first touched on February 28th for the first time in over 2 years, right? That was the first time we touched it. And we've just been trading exact same range. Now, without me even drawing anything on here, you might see something, right? In fact, it looks a little something like this. There absolutely, in my opinion, is a very clear overhead descending level of resistance and a lower descending level of support, where we've just most recently actually initiated a bounce off of the beginning of May, so about a week ago. But now you can see we're actually kind of trading right on the top of this overhead resistance, now potentially turning into support. Now, I don't like to say things are big if they're not big, but this is pretty big. This is a pretty big moment here. Now we take a look at everything else. So the stock market actually has been doing pretty well for the past few weeks, pretty much beginning April 19th, the week of April 22nd, Monday, April 22nd. Stock market's been kind of on an uptrend. And it's actually getting closer and closer now to breaching its previous all-time highs where it topped out back at the end of March. And that's going to be good for the entire market if we do that. The DXY as well has been dumping for the past week. So that's something big to factor in. But primarily, again, this weekly close for Bitcoin was completely ginormous. You see we had this wick down to about the 21 week and we ended up getting that weekly close green, which is honestly extremely big. You do see the MACD on the weekly has curved down a little bit. That very often, as I pointed out in previous videos though, can quickly be a fake out, switcheroo instead. Basically, a lot of people, maybe are looking at that thinking this is the beginning of a massive downtrend. But in previous bull markets, it actually was a fake out, just like we saw back at the end of September, right before the mega bust, right before the most parabolic move for Bitcoin of the entire bull market, right? I mean, just looking at this chart really briefly, pretty much Bitcoin's entire bull market was right here, okay? From October 2020 to April 2021, it was about 5 or 6 months. Basically, Bitcoin's entire bull market was like 5 or 6 months. And then we traded sideways, dumped, sideways, slightly higher, and then sideways, and then dumping. But everything, this right here, the entire move was right here. If you missed this entire move and you were only trading Bitcoin, you pretty much got banged, even during the next year of the bull market, right? You pretty much needed this mega bust to the upside if you wanted to get like insane gainers, right? But anyway, I think that weekly is actually looking pretty good, and the daily is what's crazy right here is that, so we're actually trading above the 21-day moving average. It's been about 4 days that we've been above it now for the first time since falling below it back on April 12th. So for the first time pretty much in a month, remember we got rejected back at the 22nd, 23rd of April, and it's trying to hold support here. Now, this could take another week or two to fully cement support above this. Keep in mind, yesterday we actually tried to come up to the 50 and kind of got rejected right there. Now we're just trading back on the 21. So in the very short term, either way, I don't think there's any clear trend in the short term. But looking on, well, I want to look at that chart as well. But looking on this chart, clearly, again, we're trying to cement support of this overhead resistance that's been resistance for over a month now, or about a month. So this is really big in the short term if Bitcoin holds this as support. Also, we look at the Bollinger Bands. They are still tight. In fact, they are insanely tight. Right as we trade right on the 21-day moving average, we've just also, the RSI has crossed bullish here recently. And this is our third day kind of in green on the MACD. So again, in the short term, I think Bitcoin has a lot of room potentially to run to the upside. But really, I mean, I'm going to make this video short and sweet because we're in the crunch zone right now. We're trading right in between these two key moving averages. At any moment, we could lose this support. This is not defined. This is not like definitive. Like this is like crunch mode. Like we're barely hanging on right now. So ideally, you'd want to. I mean, we're getting really good daily closes, so that's a really, really, really good sign. But I mean, really, you want to get above. You want to get a significant move off of this 21 and then maybe even see it come back to test it, and we're just simply not there yet. We need more time to play out, but overall, again, really good signs of a recovery completely, even in the short term, where I think the next leg up of this market, of this bull market, is going to be insane. We also see a lot of altcoins actually doing well. I guess I wouldn't say a lot, but actually it looks like a lot of like the gaming and AI coins are the ones that are, I mean, Render has been absolutely exploding. For example, let me take a look here. Yeah, Render is on like its 7th green day. It's up, I mean, that's actually kind of nuts. It's up about 60% in like the last week. So altcoins are making moves. Not all of them though, not across the board. And overall, Bitcoin is just in a healthy consolidation pattern still. Pretty much, we need Bitcoin to hold above like 61,000. That's right where the 100-day moving average is. But overall, again, in the short term, on this MACD, this is our very first green here since the middle of March. So the last month and a half, this is our very first time we actually have short-term bullish momentum. And it can very quickly turn bullish, but I would not be surprised if there was a little bit of a bull trap first, or, you know, if people are getting way too excited and longing here, then hey, maybe it'll get delayed a little bit. But ultimately, yeah, I think the trend is going to be up. One thing I did want to mention as well, there was that video going around of some guy like giving a speech at a university in front of like 60,000 people, and he mentioned Bitcoin and everyone booed. Okay, that's a good sign for us. People are still very wary of Bitcoin. We are not in euphoria. I mean, that's a good example of it. Simply is like this guy mentioned it and people were like, get this guy off of here, right? Like, get this guy out of here. Like he's a jokester, right? The less people take Bitcoin seriously, the better indication in terms of sentiment and like, I don't know. I mean, it's just my opinion. I've seen a lot of people also kind of say that same thing on Twitter, but it's true. If you go back to the top of the last bull market, like pretty much everyone and their grandmother was talking about Bitcoin and everything. It is not like that right now. It is not euphoric. Ask a distant relative or a friend that's not really in crypto what their opinion on it right now is. It's still very negative. And that's, in my opinion, a very good indicator that, you know, we still have way more to go in this cycle. Absolutely. And get set up to FEMEX or BINGX below if you buy Bitcoin or altcoins. Without further ado, it's free.